What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Ryan Myers Expeditions. I'm actually filming this intro after the fact because the day we had was so unbelievably amazing that I did not want to show anybody the shoreline. So stay tuned for an epic video of my biggest uku ever and some seriously deep Hawaii spearfishing. Before we get started, smash that like button and then we'll see you in the water. So pretty much as soon as we jumped in the water, I saw an uku come over and check us out, and that was an incredible sign. That was my first dive. It was only in like 40 feet of water. This is my second dive of the day. Now pay attention to the turning there I was doing on my way to the bottom, looking for the best hiding spot. And that's this little crack right here that I found. And when I got to the bottom, there was a pile of moo that I was looking at. And being way up here, kind of remote, and being out here in this windy area and just a little bit deeper than everybody else would go, I have a much better chance at getting a shot on one of those monster moo. And right now, that's exactly what I'm looking at. There's a bunch of moo around, but there is one that was probably pushing to 8 pounds, definitely would have been my biggest one, and I thought that this was gonna be the moment. So while looking for these moo and trying to decide, I'll kind of always take a turn around and look and see what else is going on. Because uku, just like that, tend to sneak in from behind and you would never see it. And this thing was a slob. Again, would have been my biggest uku forever, guaranteed. And you can see how all the other life here, there's moana kalis there, there's big uhu swimming around, there's another moana kali there in the screen. There's just a lot of life. And I'm hoping to wait and hold off on those smaller fish, on those less desirable fish, and try to really get the shot on this monster. You can see those big moo right there, that big pile. Unfortunately, the screen was just a little bit tilted down, so you can't see the full hunt here. But I did my lunge, and I got a shot, and unfortunately, I just barely nicked him in the tail, and he tore off. So right after Ben shot this moo, I saw this small uku come in and kind of check out the commotion. I want you to pay attention to my dive though here. I'm going to show you the full dive. See how I'm going down parallel with the flasher? What I'm doing there is I'm using the flasher as kind of a reference point so that I can keep, it's almost like I'm out line diving. I use it so I can make sure I'm going vertical straight down, and then once I get down close to sink phase, I begin to spin. And I do that here because I cannot see from the surface everything. I don't know where the best hiding spot is. I don't know where that pile of moo is because I can't see that deep. So I spin on my way to the bottom and I select which direction I'm gonna point and where I'm gonna hide. You can see I'm always picking these little sand gullies down here. I'll find a spot for my left hand to kind of place and get myself as comfortable and relaxed as possible because that's key for these longer dives. You absolutely cannot stay down there and be relaxed and not scare away these fish if you're uncomfortable on the bottom. Again, I'm going to do those turns. I'm going to try and locate that uku. I know he's down there around there somewhere, and I know that I don't want to shoot all of those other fish. There's other stuff down there always. There's other moos, there's other moana kalis, but again, the theme of today's whole entire video is going to be you really have to pass on those smaller fish to shoot the big ones. You can see here I take my time, I get my little lunge there, and I get a shot at this beautiful little uku for my first fish of the day. I play him really, really light because, again, I shot him just a little bit low, but it's so nice diving with Ben because he's always immediately on his way down there to give you a backup shot. So pay attention again here. This will be another great example of kind of a full dive and how I dive a little bit deeper. We spent all day between like 85 and maybe 105, so it's so important to dive together as a team and to really watch each other and also use these line diving skills. You can see I'm going straight down the flasher, nice and slow, nice and relaxed, and then once I get into that sink phase, once I get a little bit deeper and I can start to see around, I'm gonna spin. And that spinning is so key for me, and it's so key to do it relaxed and slowly. All I'm doing is kicking one fin just a little bit out to the side and causing me to spin around and decide where I'm gonna land. I can see more and more the shallower I get. The closer I get to the bottom, that's why I keep spinning all the way to the bottom and then find my little spot that I'm gonna lay, post up, do my grunts, do a little dusting, a little scratching, and then wait and see what comes in. I really want to be down there and look around and check for those ukus because over and over and over, they come in behind you and you won't see them because they're up higher in the water column. They're not necessarily in that fish pile that I chose to look at when I was landing. So it's really important to kind of look around, especially if that is your target species. Now, if you're there hunting moo, that's something you don't want to do because any movement of the head will completely spook those moo. So somehow right there I spooked those fish, and that's okay if you react to it properly. If you sit down there and wait and remain calm, everything will be fine and they'll go back to normal. Those fish are down there all day long trying to decide, are you a predator or is that food? That's what they have to do all day long. I make that decision 1 billion times. So they're a little bit flighty, they're a little bit spooky at all times. You can see those Moana collies came in though, they weren't really affected by that little spook. Watch here as I turn the gun super slow and I go to line up, and again right here they don't like it, they do another little spook, but I stay down there, I don't freak out, I remain calm, I keep swinging that gun really lightly and slowly, and then I'll get another shot on these fish. I kind of wait here, pick out the perfect shot, make sure I get that headshot I'm looking for, and land a really, really solid goat, my favorite fish to eat out here. Ben had a rainbow runner come through and he could not resist going down, taking this thing home for poke. And this is it, guys, that dive you've been looking for, the giant uku, by far my biggest Hawaii uku. And watch here again, pay attention to those same skills I was telling you before. You've got the line there, or the flasher, that I'm using to keep myself straight and vertical, fall perfectly straight. And then as I get a little bit deeper, I get into sink phase, I start to do those spins and decide which way I want to point, which way has the most potential to hold the fish that I'm looking for without me having to move too much. There are those spins, trying to decide which way to go. You can see how one side of the ledge a lot of times is a lot rockier than the other, and I kind of like to look parallel one way or the other. So I can swing the gun to my right in this case, and I would be up on the boulders if a fish was coming that way, or I could swing the gun to the left and I'd be out in the sand if an uku or something were to come in from that direction. But I get down here, you see the moo, and again, pay attention to all the opportunities here. You have to let the small fish go if you want to shoot the big ones. Because at so many times here, I could have pulled the trigger at something else and then never seen that monster uku, never had the chance for him to come in. This is a nice moo. I even gave this one a thought. I was like, maybe I'll take this moo. I haven't shot that much today. I've got one uku and one goat on the stringer. But I take my time, I sit down there, I wait. I know that those moo are not going to go anywhere. I know that those Moana collies are not going to go anywhere. And then if I choose to shoot them at the end of my dive, I can wait and still have plenty of time to see if something else comes in. And then look at these turns. You can see that I'm looking up and around, and I'm looking for that uku to sneak in, which is they're so known to do. And that's exactly what happens. I turn to the right, to the same place that I had looked before, and there he is, that monster just cruising around. Curious came in. I almost did a lunge here and thought I could take a shot because this was a longer dive. This dive came out to 245, and I didn't know if I could outweight him for another turn. But I settled back down into the bottom. I kind of got as calm as possible. I did a little bit more scratching. I don't need to be loud or obnoxious here. He knows where I am. And all I want to do is entice him to come in a little bit. You can see I make the move here a little bit to get my left hand in a position that I can launch off and close the distance. And that's exactly what I do. And luckily I time it to where he's coming at me and I get a perfect shot on an unbelievable fish. A fish that I've been looking for out here in Hawaii for so long. For these type of long, deep dives, proper buddy system is everything. And diving with a legend like Ben, it's not even talked about. We know that we're going to stay together. We know we're going to watch each other. We know that he's going to be ready to second shot any of my fish that may need it and give whatever assistance that we may need to each other at any point throughout the day. We have a lot more fun, we're a lot safer, and we land a lot more fish.
Holy shit! Bro, by far my biggest uku.
Check that out, guys. That is the freaking fish I've been looking for. I thought we were gonna come out here and chum for him, but didn't even need to. Proper hunting technique, going to the bottom, hiding properly, waiting, dusting, grunting, produces fish like this. Pretty freaking incredible. Cannot wait to eat this thing. No idea what Sam's gonna cook up, but stoked to find out. And we'll see you guys in the kitchen. Got some poke, got some sashimi.
Got a little fried moo. Oh, definitely some nice Moana collies.
Beautiful steamed Moana collies.
Oh, I think I got you beat, bro.
That is a good looking cooler there. Guys, this thing is a monster. Yeti, I'm gonna need a bigger cooler. Look at this. What we really want to do is put this thing on a brine overnight so we can clean it for you guys tomorrow and get the best quality meat. And to do that, I've got to use my dining room table, but I also have to make my catch and cook for the night. So my dining room table is also going to be my brining icebox thing. We'll see how this goes.
What are we gonna have for dinner?
That is going to be dinner. I'm going to add some Hawaiian salt. And then I'm gonna add some water. The first of many meals that have been provided by today's day of spearfishing. And tomorrow, after our fish comes out of the brine, we're gonna cook up the uku.
Oh my goodness. I love it when they're falling apart.
The Moana Kali, definitely one of the best eating fish out here in Hawaii. And wait till you see what we do to it. All right guys, our dining room table is ready to be set. There's the uku brining. Harry Potter ready to be washed. We're stoked, and guys, we'll see you tomorrow. We're starving. We know this is gonna be delicious. We don't have to tell you. We've done this a bunch of times. Go watch one of those videos, we'll put them up top. We've brined this thing overnight. We're gonna take and get a weight on it. Put your guesses down below. How big do you think that thing is? Freaking monster. Oh. 20 pounds. Right at 20 pounds. Freaking amazing. Definitely my biggest Hawaiian uku. What a cool freaking fish. I really wanted to get a weight on this fish. I didn't gut it. So I'm gonna gut it right now, and then I'm gonna kind of put it aside and fillet the other one while I let some of that blood come out of it. But I'm gonna attempt to scale it so that when I take the skin off, we can fry the skin into chicharrones. We've already done a chicharrona video with uku, and it came out freaking incredible. So I feel like I cannot throw skin away anymore. Justin Lee scaler working pretty well. This is a massive job. You better enjoy these chicharrones. I'm definitely regretting this decision already. Whew. It's a lot of work, but definitely easier than I expected. So while this is usually the size of an uku that I would absolutely shoot, this thing is a baby compared to that other one. I'm gonna do this one the exact same way. I've already gutted it, but pull the scales off so we can use its skin and fillet it right up. Beautiful piece of meat there. It's really incredible the difference on a well-brined fish and scaling them first. I don't usually scale my fish first before filleting, but it makes it way, way easier. I still cannot get over how big this thing is and how big it looks on this table. But I'm gonna try and give you guys a real good breakdown on how I'd fillet this fish, any fish, and I guess one of these larger sized fish. We're gonna keep a lot of things on here that I wouldn't normally keep. So now I've got the top cut going all the way down to the spine right about there, and then I'm gonna come from the bottom and do the same thing. The goal is not to have a beautiful piece of art. The goal is to get your fillets off of the meat and keep them as clean as possible. So I'm gonna show you something that I'll do a lot of times on these bigger fish. If I were to keep filleting, I've got this separated up to here, right? You never wanna get the meat on the table. Table's gross, okay? So one of the ways to do that is to simply cut your fillet in half. I've got it here. It's a much more easily manageable piece. If I come up here and I'm trying to work it off the rib bones, this is gonna flop over and it's gonna get on here. So to keep it super clean, got right here, and go all the way down. Then you've got this chunk that comes off beautifully, is perfectly clean, has never touched the table, and this one is a much more manageable piece to work on. Then I can come up here and do the hardest part, which is kind of working around these rib bones, and it depends on what the fish is. Sometimes I'll just cut right through them, and sometimes I will fillet off them. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do on this one yet. Kind of see. Usually that kind of depends on how hard the ribs are to cut. On the smaller one, I just cut the ribs as well. On this bigger one, we'll kind of see what happens. The key with this whole process is to not be in a rush, take your time, and get comfortable. So you can go through these rib bones right here. And then, got a nice easy go through these rib bones like that. And you've got a beautiful piece of meat there, including the stomach cavity, which we'll see what we're gonna do with this. Again, on smaller fish, I'll just discard this, but for these bigger fish, sometimes you can do other things with these stomach cavities. You can grill them up, you can cook them separately, but you can see there's no blood, there's no guts, none of this has ever touched the table, and this is how you keep the top quality meat. So I'm gonna flip this thing over, and I'm gonna do the backside the exact same way, and then I'm gonna finish them off inside in the AC. There's not a lot of meat left on this frame, so I don't think we're gonna cook that. But what I am gonna take is the collars. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm from Florida where we're really bad at utilizing the whole fish. We've got a lot of fish, so we tend to take a lot of just fillets, but I'm trying to do better and kind of learn more from the locals out here on how to use more parts of the fish. Last night we had that big Moana Kali, and what's pretty incredible is the meat that comes out from up here is by far the best. That's what I fed Sam all night long. That's like the only part she eats now. So we're gonna have that same thing, but like 10 times as big. All right, and last but not least, we're gonna save this head because I'm going to attempt to do a jaw mount for you guys. So I have no idea how to take these jaws out. I'm tired. I'm gonna throw this whole thing in the freezer and deal with it another day. Now I kind of got to decide how I'm gonna cut it up. Every single fish is different. Every single cut, whatever you've got, is kind of a different system. But for this guy, I'm gonna cut it straight down here, extracting out that rib section. I'm gonna go all the way down to the bottom, and I'm gonna cut the skin. Now, I've got this nice big shoulder loin here, and I'm gonna cut this into 2 chunks and skin it. Now the way I'm gonna do this is not start from one side, but I'm actually gonna start from the middle. So I'm gonna go down from the middle, and I cut all the way to the skin, but not completely through the skin. And then I can whip that knife sideways, and just cruise along. And you've got that nice sushi grade block right there. Nice chunk, comes over here. Need some help. Slash hole right here. Gives you a little handle there to hold on to. So keeping your fish clean is super, super important. Basically what happens is every time you cut the fish, you cut the cells, and all that fluid comes out. And that fluid and all that dirt and debris and surface area that you have laying around is what makes the fish go bad. So a lot of paper towels in between cleaning my workstation, and just overall keeping everything very nice and neat. When I get ready to finish off this fish, I trim it and I take everything and I make it beautiful. I'll take these tiny little filaments off here. I'm gonna pull all this red off next. Come over here, this looks pretty good. I might take this off right here. Any of that little connective tissue that you can get off is just nice for an overall better experience eating your fish. That little chunk off. Little chunk off. Flip over here onto the back, and I'm gonna see if I can get all of this red off without losing too much meat. It's kind of just the name of the game. Now to store it, I'm always gonna wrap it in paper towels. I'm just like that. Wrap, wrap, like that. Comes in a Ziploc bag. And I can stack 4 or 5 in here, and that is how you're gonna absolutely get the best quality meat. You do not want to vacuum bag your fish that you're gonna eat in the next couple days. I know that I'm not gonna freeze any of this fish. It's all gonna be given away or it's all gonna be eaten in the next couple days. So, with any scraps you have, you can chop it up nice and fine. Let's feed them. Everybody likes uku. We've got new Sergeant Majors. These are maninis, also known as a convict tang. We've got a little cardinal fish there in the background. Obviously we have jock, our banded coral shrimp, a couple snails going on, a really cool shrimp we found the other day. Well, everybody's happy. Now it's time for me to eat because I'm starving.
Today we are making honey walnut uku. Now I took some of your suggestions and kept them that you guys gave me on Instagram, but unfortunately Ryan has been pestering me all day long because all he wants is honey walnut uku, and I cannot find a recipe for honey walnut fish. But we called Justin and he said it can be done, so we're gonna do it. This recipe is definitely not healthy because of the amount of sugar and the condensed milk and all of the sweet things that go into it, but it's definitely gonna be a really good treat. So we're gonna start by making the walnuts, the candied walnuts, and we do that with a 1 1/3 cup of sugar, 2 cups of water, and 1 cup of halved walnuts. We're gonna combine our sugar and our water into a pot to boil. While I'm waiting for that to boil, I'm gonna take 8 eggs and I'm gonna separate out the egg whites. 1 down. The sugar and water started to boil, and now I'm gonna dump in my walnuts. We're just gonna stir them in.
This is it.
This is it. We're gonna bring it back up to a boil and we're gonna let it sit for 2 minutes. 2 minutes later, our walnuts should be nice and candied. So we're gonna turn the heat off and we're gonna drain them. Now we're gonna make our batter for the fish, but I wanna stress the importance of using the mochiko flour. I was told by Justin that it's really, really sweet, so it really makes it crispy and flavorful. So that's what we're using today. I have my 8 egg whites and I have to like mix them until they get foamy. So we're gonna see how that goes.
Apparently no one taught Sam how to whip.
What the heck? That's professional.
Nice and foamy.
Whoa.
Justin said it should be pretty thick. I don't know about
This
that.
thick? I mean, how is this even gonna stick to the fish?
You need more egg whites. Shocker, but this is not going well. This is supposed to be our tempura. And hence we reach the point in every video where we go off book, have no idea what we're doing. We have now added more egg whites. We shall see.
Actually, I think it's helping. It's way better.
No, it's definitely better.
Now we have 11 eggs. I'm wondering if we need another one. What do you think?
Yeah. What do you think?
Definitely looks better. This is the sauce that's gonna go over the fish after we fried it. We're gonna do half a cup of mayo, 4 tablespoons of honey, and 2 tablespoons of condensed milk.
So we made it to Britt's house now. That's Britt. Say hi, Britt.
Hi guys.
Sam has her drink. What are you drinking?
Margarita.
Sweet. Elias, over there.
What's up, guys?
All I did was chop up some uku real quick. Some sashimi. Cannot make fish without having sashimi. We're gonna fry this stuff up. We've got our sauce, everything traveled well. Britt is making wasabi. Good to go.
So Ryan cut the uku into chunkies. We're gonna dip it in the batter, and then we are gonna fry it in a little bit of oil.
And we are not gonna burn Britt's house down.
Do you have a fire extinguisher?
That'll be nice. I think I do actually.
A hose for a grease fire? That's something I would do.
Don't worry, I'm a volunteer fireman.
Did you tell them we're making honey uku, honey walnut?
I did it in the beginning, didn't I? Guys, we're making honey walnut
No, I
uku.
mean these guys.
Oh, we're making honey walnut uku.
That's what we're having?
Yes.
Yeah, well.
Also, I've never
I'm definitely
been
gonna stay there.
so.
What we're doing is, this is the first one, we have no idea. Check this out. Huh? That looks right. We've got all of our fish. We made a ton. It looks beautiful. Look at that. We're gonna take it, we're gonna crust it up. Yeah?
Crust it.
Yeah, we're gonna crust it. No, we're gonna sauce it, I
I can't
guess.
believe how this
It came out
rice
amazing.
flour turned out.
No, the rice flour is incredible. Look at that.
Is it?
Look at that pile of fish nuggets right there. So this is that sauce mixture Sam made. Look at that. Toss it. Look at that. Look at that coating. Yes.
It smells like honey mustard too.
Walnuts. Look at that. Those are candied walnuts going in there right now. That's pretty epic. What do you think?
You wanna bite one?
Yeah, I do want to bite one.
Oh my god! We did it!
We did it.
Can't wait for Elias.
What did Elias? Did Elias go get more alcohol?
Yeah, maybe we should wait.
Okay.
He's getting us the alcohol.
So Elias went to get more alcohol. We're gonna wait for him to eat.
That sauce is awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good. It's better than the McDonald's honey mustard sauce.
How dare you compare it to the honey mustard sauce at the hotel? Well guys, that was freaking delicious, unbelievable, honey walnut glazed uku. Freaking sick video. If you guys like this video, make sure you smash that like button. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Tell Elias what you think also.
Swipe up.
That's different. That's Instagram. We don't swipe up.
Oh, damn.
Guys.
Take my word for it though, guys. It was delicious, was awesome, and you know, I don't know what else to say. Thank you so much for the opportunity of being in another one of your videos, man.
Guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Ryan Myers Expeditions.